On today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Disney Store exclusive, the Diamond Select Toys, Marvel Select Bleeding Edge Iron Man. Yes, you heard correctly, this is a Disney Store exclusive, so instead of going to your local comic book stores, you would want to beeline it to your local, or if you have one, a local Disney store and pick this guy up. Like that Disney Store has the exclusives, but on the other end of it, sometimes we don't have Disney stores. I have one in not really my area, but one I can go to and see if they have the figures. But sometimes for the people that don't have Disney stores, it makes things a little bit harder to pick up this figure. You could, of course, always go on eBay, but sometimes when you go on eBay, the prices that you end up paying for them. So, liking the Disney Store exclusives, not liking the Disney Store exclusives, I'm kind of split on my opinions of it. But a fantastic looking Iron Man armor. I can't wait to get him out of packaging. Spin around the side of the package, speaking of, and we have an image of the bleeding edge Iron Man armor. And spin around to the back. This is an interesting nod to, I don't know if it's intentional, but I feel like it's one of the maybe subtle nods to the original Marvel Select Iron Man, because I feel like his stand was roughly about the same, that little smoke, and he had him standing on top. I did a review of him like many moons ago. I kind of feel like I'm kind of getting that same vibe going on here. This is, once again, a Disney Store exclusive and comes to us from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys. Feel free to go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. Check out the other pieces the folks over at Diamond Select are producing. That being said, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Disney Store exclusive, the Bleeding Edge Iron Man. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When you get Bleeding Edge armor out of packaging, there's a little bit of assembly. I've already taken the liberty of doing it. All it was this wing here is a separate piece. You want to just peg that into place. And you've got what I will consider probably one of the more larger, elaborate display stands that come included with a Marvel Select figure. This is pretty impressive. Smoke on the bottom, there's a little bit, like, obviously smoke at the top, and 2 peg points where Iron Man can stand on top. It looks as if he's flown through this wing and broken off the wing in the process. Look at really fantastic looking display stand. Very creative way to display Iron Man. But what I was mentioning to you before was that, and I almost feel like this could have been a separate piece, but it's not. It looks like it's sculpted in. But like this section here, just the smoke end of it does look like what we had gotten with one of the earliest Marvel Select Iron Mans. I did a review of it many moons ago again. But it was just this piece, and then Iron Man stood at the top of it. And I don't know if it was just the nod to that, but they took that idea and definitely expanded on it, giving us this awesome looking stand. Put that down. I don't want to touch too much on the display stand. Obviously, we want to look at the armor itself. And I really like this armor. It's sleeker than some of the other Iron Man armors. Normally, it's confined, it's, you know, conformed to the shape of Tony's body, but this suit itself always has that little extra bit of bulk to it, whereas the Bleeding Edge armor here is a much sleeker looking design suit. The paint is very nice on it, this gold and cranberry red, a staple for Iron Man suits as it goes. Relatively clean. There's little areas, the odd areas. One here where there's a little bit of that red that's splotched, and one section right here where unfortunately this red has rubbed itself off and exposing, or for that matter, it could be just a little splotch of gold that's on its on his shoulders. But the overall design is very clean. It's very crisp. I like it. It's almost got a more simplistic design to it than some of his other armors too. It has just the designs that you come to expect with Iron Man, just a more sleek and simplistic design. His arc reactor on the front and repulsor blast on his hands are still present. This hand, however, is closed. I guess as the only real notable thing I wish that this figure had actually come with, it's probably the same thing you guys are thinking, is I kind of wish hands. He has one open hand, yes, and he has one closed fist, but I kind of wish that you had gotten more things than just the 2 hands. You know, maybe a secondary closed fist. I don't know if I ever would display Iron Man with like an open hand. You know, just something that's, yeah, you can have him displayed like he's got the repulsor, you know, repulsor blast he's going to be firing. I mean, that in itself is a good design, but I kind of just wish I wish that he had extra hands going on there as well. The face, we just bring the camera up here. Face is also very nice. But if you see what I'm saying though, it's aspects of Iron Man that we know, just presented in a much more sleek, compact design. There's the back of it right there. He's also got these areas, these little light areas on his back, on the sides of his legs, and areas even on his arms and his hand there. Overall feeling, I like it. I really like the design of it. This is the kind of thing where you would want to get other, Marvel Select Iron Mans, or for that matter, other Iron Man figures, and like Bleeding Edge, I think stands out. I mean, if you compare it to other Iron Mans, the coloring's the same, the design is roughly the same, but there's that sleekness that I think when you put it with other Iron Mans, it would stand out. You would look at it and say, "Oh, is that? I like this. I like how that's sleek." It's definitely something that looks like it's more built for agility and speed. When it comes, by the way, to his articulation, very impressed actually with his articulation. His head moves left and right very easily, up and down. His head could tilt high enough that when you get him on his display stand, I'll show you guys that in a second, that you could kind of have it look like he's flying, or he's flying through the wing of that jet. He has no articulation in the torso. My guess is they didn't want to break up the sculpt, especially like this area right here. They didn't want to break the sculpt up by having a ball joint or a sectional torso piece there. Shoulders hinge out very easily. They hinge also forward and back. He has, he has a hinge in his arm, a double bend in his arm, but he doesn't have any hinge in his swivel in his bicep, which could also make me think it's the same thing. They didn't want to break up like some of the sculpt there, or they just opted just to leave it completely all out for a reason I probably just don't know. He has a hinge and rotation in the hands. And as for his legs are impressive. I mean, the legs are ball jointed, so they hinge quite a bit out, forward and back. He has a double bend at the knee. And finally, he has a pivot and hinge in the foot. And just to show you guys what I'm talking about here, you can take and he's got long feet. I don't know why. Something else I noticed about this particular suit is that he has really long feet. I don't know if that says something about Tony. You know what they say with Tony Stark armor that has long feet, don't you? I don't really have an answer for that. It's probably... It just means he can propel himself through a jet. That's what I have to come up with. And you can get the hand going up, maybe the other hand back, bend his knee ever so slightly without unhinging it. And whoops, and I was going to say, and you can get something that looks like this. It's a little finicky to get him on the display stand because especially the display stand works itself on an angle. But when you eventually get it, you can get something. Stay with me, Tony. You get something that looks like that. You could probably do obviously a better job than what Spot's just done, but just to kind of show you what I'm talking about here. I wish it kind of hinged itself better onto the display stand. I feel like it's not the most stable of connection points, as you can see. You want to do a little bit of playing around. I guess you could also spin it around this way and have him coming out the jet that side. But, you have a couple of different options. Love the display stand. The smoke is a little finicky. But I really like the figure. It's different. It's something that I like about Iron Man, that it's the same coloring as Iron Man. Because for me, I always think traditional Iron Man, I think gold and I think red. I know there's like black suits, there's blue suits, he has white suits, but at the end of the day, I dig more like the classic red and gold treatment. So it has that, but then it has a different design to it, that sleeker design that I really like. It's a good figure. It's a good figure. If you get a chance to pick them up at, again, in this case, you want to go to the Disney store, but if you can see him, I think he's worth picking up. I really do. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Diamond Select toys. We're having a look at Iron Man's Bleeding Edge armor. We're having a look today at Iron Man. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got more videos, of course, heading your way. Thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.